Hey everyone, I wanted to go over the new and exciting news that we got for Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, which is now available on the Nintendo Switch and on PC. And today what I wanted to touch upon is basically the brand new wave of information that we have regarding free title update number 2 and more importantly, free title update number 3, as people have begun to look into the game's files after the 11.01 patch and have begun to find out, and we have discovered basically a ton of brand new information on what could potentially be dropping for these next 2 free title updates. Now, just a few days ago, I posted a video where we basically talked about the brand new Capcom Showcase presentation that they will be hosting for Tokyo Game Show 2022. If you haven't necessarily seen it already, I'm going to leave a link in the description below for you guys to check it out. Basically, as we went over that on September 15th at 10 a.m. East Coast time, 7 a.m. West Coast time here in North America, we are going to be getting a brand new Capcom presentation for about an hour long. Capcom is going to be showcasing a couple of games. Brand new information is going to be dropping for many of them, and they specifically mentioned that Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak will be receiving, and I quote unquote, the latest updates for new information regarding the game. So today we're going to be going over 2 specific things that are going to be available in free title update number 2, and then one thing that we can potentially see in free title update number 3, specifically regarding afflicted star monsters and afflicted investigation quests, and more importantly, just how much of a grind this is going to start to become for those who aren't already happy with the fact that we're already grinding a lot for these monsters. So we know that the most recent free title update, 11.01 update, actually brought us afflicted 5-star monsters. These were originally unlocked at afflicted investigation level 81. You needed to level up your quests essentially to level 81 to be able to have access to not just be able to get an investigation quest with the brand new monsters, the Tigres, the Diablos, Cenogres, Mitsuzune, Lunagaron, etc. You needed to be afflicted a level 81 to be able to get there. Now we know that on the next free title update, they are going to be introducing afflicted star 6 quest. And on the next free title update, that would be the 3rd one. So we know that the second one is going to be happening late September. I spoke about that in the other video. But we also know that the next one will be happening most likely late November. That is what we should be expecting. And that one is most likely going to be introducing afflicted 7-star monsters. And like I mentioned before, afflicted 5-star monsters, you need to be level 81 to be able to unlock. Based on some of the new information, you should be seeing it on screen right now. It's a little checkbox with just the raw data. We now know that afflicted 6-star monsters, in Japan they actually call them EX, well we call them afflicted star 5 or 6, 7 or whatever it might be, but in Japan they do EX, that's why it shows up that way. And basically you're going to need to be 111, level 111 to have full access to afflicted 6-star monsters. Now that is the one that we can expect for free title update number 2, the one that they're going to showcase at Tokyo Game Show. Whatever the next event is going to be, whenever that next free title update is going to be happening for November, that is when they are going to be introducing afflicted 7-star monsters, and you're going to need to be a level 181 based on the information that is being basically pulled out of the game's information files. We now know that that is going to be the case. So yeah, the grind is going to be real. If getting to level 81 you thought was a bit of a pain, getting to level 100 is way more, since you're basically just, it takes you 2 to 3 quests to be able to level up in the mid 80s to 90s. So then getting to 100 and eventually to 181 is gonna be a real slog. Now remember, they are giving you time to be able to get to that point. We're talking late September to get to maxed out level 100 right now. That is the cap right now. You can get to 81 and then continue to cap out at level 100. So then you're only going to have to grind 11 levels to be able to get the new afflicted investigation monsters, which we're going to be talking about in a little bit. So basically have access to them once the September update drops. But then most likely the cap is going to be, let's say 130, 140, maybe even 150. So then you're going to have to grind all the way to 181 for the next free title update. So it's going to be a while for people to be able to have full access to all the afflicted monsters, not just on free title update number 2, if you haven't capped that at 100 by then, which again, you have until late September to get to, and then eventually for November, we're going to be expecting probably capping that at 140, 150, maybe even 130, and then that grind to 181 is going to be real. Now, as to what monsters are actually going to be part of this free title update, this is the second part of the information that I wanted to go ahead and cover. As of right now, we know that there's 5 empty slots for Anomaly quest monsters, corresponding to just 5 monsters that currently do not have afflicted monster quest. These are the ones that we are expecting 100% guaranteed to be part of the aforementioned afflicted 6-star monsters that are going to require you to be level 111 to be able to unlock. Those monsters are Gore Magala, Espinas, Pyarachna, Seething Bazelgeuse, and Furious Rajang. So those are the 5 monsters that we currently know 100% guaranteed will be part of that afflicted 6-star tier of monsters. Now, there is some speculation even within those circles that maybe elders are also going to be part of this group. 5 monsters for just one specific tier wouldn't necessarily be a lot. So the speculation right now is that maybe Teostra, Kushala Daora, and Chameleos could also be joining Gore Magala, Espinas, Pyarachna, Seething Bazelgeuse, and Furious Rajang as they also get an afflicted equivalent quest. That is, again, speculation regarding the elders, but the other 5 are pretty much 100% guaranteed. I don't necessarily know if they're going to choose to do that right now. They could hold it off for Afflicted 7, which we just went over. That is going to be happening, but you never necessarily know. So for right now, we're just going to leave it as speculation for Teostra, Kushala Daora, and Chameleos. Now, they could choose to go ahead and basically provide us those monsters in a different format, and they don't necessarily have to be elders. I'm going to start showing you some images right now on the screen regarding some of the monsters that are already showing up in afflicted set environments for master rank, which already have damage parameters being boosted. For example, we have a really interesting quest right there that someone took a screenshot of, where you're fighting an afflicted Seething. This is a level 93 quest where you're fighting an afflicted Seething, a scorned Magnamalo with boosted parameters, and a Furious Rajang with boosted parameters, meaning that they hit you harder and basically they're going to kick your butt. But interestingly enough, if you look at the failure conditions, basically if you get hit once, you fail the quest automatically. So it doesn't really matter. Like if they hit you, you die anyways and the quest is over. So not only do these 2 monsters, Scorn Magnamalo and Furious Rajang, will hit you harder if they actually do get to hit you, but they also have an instant fail if you basically just get tapped one time. The same thing can also be said for the Malzeno being shown up in some of the afflicted quests. Here's another example of someone's afflicted Sinogre quest with an Apex Arzuros, but also that Malzeno also has boosted parameters where they hit harder than they typically would. So what they could choose to do, if they don't give you elders that are afflicted on 6-star quests, they could choose to go this specific route and just put them in normal quests as they appear as normal monsters, and they could just simply be more boosted, better resistances, better knockout resistances, higher damage, higher elementals, whatever, so they could choose to go that route. That is just a theory on my part, but it could be a possibility. And just like elders potentially appearing and getting their very own afflicted versions, we know that Apex is now being back in master rank, could potentially end up getting their very own afflicted versions as well. This is something that could become, a rollout of like a couple of monsters show up and afflicted 6 and a couple more show up and afflicted 7. That's just speculation, but it could end up being a possibility that we end up seeing like Apex Arzuros and Apex Rathian appear as afflicted monsters for 6 stars. That could be a possibility. Now, we also know that afflicted 7 monsters are also going to be appearing, and some of those will end up being Scorn Magnamalo, Crimson Glow Valstrax, Gold Rathian, and Silver Rathalos. So those are the 4 ones that we know of as of now when it comes to afflicted 7 monsters. Now, just like afflicted 6-stars monsters, there is a little bit of a discussion regarding Lucent Nargacuga getting his very own afflicted version and the investigations, but the issue as of right now is that this monster only appears in the Forlorn Arena. So you wouldn't necessarily be, seeking it out or anything like that. It's not much of an investigation if the monster is only appearing in one place. It's the same situation with Gaismagorm. We expect Gaismagorm to eventually get, and the same thing can be said for about Narwa and Ibushi, that they will get afflicted versions, but because they're fought in arenas specifically, we don't necessarily know if they are just gonna get the outright same quest or they're gonna be part of another quest. And when it comes specifically to Lucent Nargacuga, it could end up being that it ends up appearing on different parts of the map, and we just don't necessarily have access to that as of right now. And for quick clarification, Gold Rathian and Silver Rathalos do appear in other people's quests, Afflicted Investigation quests, in different maps. So it's not necessarily that those two monsters are just tied to just Forlorn Arena. They are for that quest that we get automatically when we start the brand new patch, but you don't necessarily have to fight them in that specifically arena. They do appear in other quests in different places. Now, the last little tidbit that I wanted to add to this video as well, since this is something that was just recently found, is the fact that we have information regarding the brand new Mitsuzune variant, I believe it's actually was being described as, and the Espina subspecies for free title update number 2, and that is the fact that, of course, without much of a surprise, they are going to be having their very own full armor sets as well added into the game. Now, the slots for these monsters have already kind of been updated in the 11.01 patch, so this is something that we should be 100% expecting. Now, the theory is that because usually when it comes to armor slots and stuff like that appearing ahead of the actual release of these monsters, if there's going to be extra monsters appearing for that free title update number 2, most likely those slots should have already appeared in that data as well. But so far, they haven't necessarily been found so far. Of course, that doesn't necessarily mean that these are the only 2 monsters that we're going to get in that free title update, but it's something of a little bit of a discussion that I've seen foster regarding, maybe that could actually be the only monsters that we get in the update, and then we just end up getting a bunch of afflicted monsters like I covered in this video. We don't necessarily know. I wouldn't necessarily, put too much stock on that. And the Mitsuzune I mentioned before, that is a brand new Mitsuzune. We don't necessarily know anything about it because there's no current variant Mitsuzune. There's only the Apex and the special species Mitsuzune that we know of. And other than that, there's just normal Mitsuzune. So there's no other ones. So whatever this new one is going to be its very own thing. But that's about all the information that I want to go over with you guys today. Like I mentioned before, I wanted to compile all this together and put it neatly packaged into one specific video. I don't like to make separate videos and just little things like that. So, there you go. If you're brand new to my channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Hit the bell to receive notifications when the videos go up. And as always, thank you so much for watching. See ya.